ethically, an investigator cannot agree to ignore contrary indications or promise to find a suspect innocent or guilty in advance. Likewise, a lieutenant of the armed forces cannot address a small child and tell them, if you do not do as I say, I will hold you responsible for the mumbling of invisible ink. Nor can a gifted, wealthy, powerful man lawfully and ethically take a young girl hostage and use her as a human shield. Well, I think we know that we're not dealing with ethics. We're dealing with the Fern Hollow Bridge esoteric circle. And we also, I think, know where things stand when it comes to them and their view of what I've just said. The idea that invisible ink can be evoked by the Supreme Panel to nullify findings and opinions and make them punishable offenses traces back to Fayum, the Nuncio's movement at the birthplace of fascism when a town between Croatia and Italy was being disputed. One of the early founders of Italian futurist cinema, which was a spin-off from the Cubist movement. It was fascist. It introduced the racist D.W. Griffith to Mussolini. It was Freddie Luigi. He was an acolyte of the Nuncio's movement in Fiume. One of the things going on in Fiume is that the competing powers were, in addition to rivaling claims to jurisdiction, had counterfeiters at work. So a large percentage of the money, well, a relatively small, but a significant percentage of the money was counterfeit on both sides. So they were swashbuckling money to gain notoriety, notarization, and power. And it's a metaphor for what Axis Hollywood did with cinema, counterfeit. The counterfeiting system became an idea of idealization of their fascist reality show. How can we tell a story, a narrative that bypasses reality and gets to the root of something more favorable to what we think is in our interest to promote? And they're selling the Green Party as idealism after they ignored the warnings of science for decades, after they laughed at ecology and they resorted to monstrosity. We're supposed to believe them. I don't think there's anything unscrupulous about saving the planet. I don't think there's anything wrong with putting a good deal of force behind the appeals to prepare a future for the sustainable development goals of our species and to care about biodiversity and meltdown. But there is some significant doubt in my mind that the New World Order should be allowed to process as a fable the history of the matter. Counterfeiting reality is not a legitimate production code. We need oversight over the world's cinema. They've been serving robber barons and questionable characters in the celebrity superstate, building what they claim is a legitimate arc of colors. I think we need to think through the problem of legitimate compassion and concern, legitimate educational systems, echo cities, echo schools, and review based on what truly happened of our history in the matter. The triumph of Fayum is the triumph of counterfeiting. And the people who made it their business to profit from counterfeiting should be impeached.